Hello everyone, welcome back to the lecture. So in this lecture, we will try to see a few of the technical terms and what is the meaning of that. We'll try to understand that. So if you're someone who is new to my channel, do subscribe to my channel if you like this particular video. And then there are many videos on my channel. Check it out so that your technical knowledge is going to increase. So first, you might have seen something called as floating column, right? So first we'll try to see what is this floating column. I'll explain one by one. Then we'll see what is it inverted beam or upstand beam. Then there is something called as sill concrete. We'll try to see that as well. Then we'll see what is DPC, bond beam, which is also called as partly beam. Few people will call it as a RCC band. We'll try to see that. We'll see what is this flat slab. We'll try to see what is this PT beam and PT slab. We'll see what is this shear wall. We'll see what is retaining wall. And if time permits, we'll see what is trap beam and pile cutoff point. Okay. So these are the things which we'll concentrate now. So we'll start with the lecture. Yeah, so you can see this particular column, right? So this particular column and this particular column. So this column doesn't have any foundation, right? It is starting from this particular level. In the same way, if you see this column, when this column is starting from this particular point, there is no column beneath this. So since it's floating in the air, we call it as a floating column. So floating in the sense it doesn't have a foundation. Okay, that is why it's called as floating column. Whereas this column and all, if you see, it is starting from the foundation level only. Now, why we need to provide such columns? So usually from aesthetic point of view, from architecture point of view, sometimes the client wants, column-free spaces and all. In that case, what they do is they provide such kind of column. This is called as your floating column. Few people will call it as a planted column. Uh, yeah, planted column, or you can call it as a floating column. Okay, so that is the main use of it. And how it is, what you call, uh, yeah, how it is designed or how it is done practically on the construction site is whatever is your column reinforcement. Just a minute. Yeah. So whatever is your column reinforcement, right? That will be given a proper development length and it will be taken inside the beam or whatever element it is there. So this is how the columns are erected here. Okay. That is how it is. So this is called as a floating column or you can call it as a planted column. Next is called as the inverted beam. So what are these inverted beam? So usually how the beams will be, if this is my slab, beneath the slab you'll see a beam, right? Sometime when you have a larger space between the column, and let's say if you're using that for some, hall and all, and you don't want the beam to be seen, so in that case, people give inverted beam and all. So in the inverted beam, what happens is you can see this particular beam here. From here, this entire beam, you can see it here. It is rested on this particular slab, right? You can see this particular beam. This particular beam is rested on this particular slab. So this is called as a inverted beams and all. Especially when you don't want to see your beams and all, people try to give such kind of beams and all. Okay, fine. After that, next we saw what is this DPC, what is this RCC band and all. We'll try to see this. See, this is a right construction practice. So why it is called as right construction practice? So here they have done this thing, brick block work. It's called as porothum block or porothum brick you can call. So this particular thing is called as a DPC, that is damp proof course. Nearly 6 inch of DPC they have given. Then they have done the block work. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 layers they have given. After every 5 layers or after every 1 or 1.2 meter, we should provide this particular RCC band. Few people call it a sill band, but generally it is not called a sill band. This is called as a RCC band, or you can call it as a bond beam, or you can call it as a partly beam. Okay. This is how it is. After every 5 course or after every 1 or 1.2 meter, you should provide this. Then again you raise your again block work. Again after that you provide this, and then this is how you are supposed to do the block work. Okay. So all the three terms, that is, this is called as DPC. This is your RCC band, or you can call it as bond beam, or you can call it as a partly beam. Always remember, whenever you are doing the block work and all, no, the last layer or the last course, it should be made up of a complete block. It should be a full block. Generally on the site, sometimes what happens if you're not following the quality and all, what people do is they put half block also here, half block they do it here, right? And then there will be a space here and all. So that is not the right construction practice. What you should do is always the last layer at the top, you should have a complete block. Okay, that's the one thing you have to understand when you're going for a checking of a block work and all. Next, this is the same thing. It's again RCC band, what they have provided it here. Okay, again, why it should be provided? Generally to avoid the cracks and all. So usually what happens, let's say if any cracks comes here, right? So it will not propagate from here because of this RCC band and all. This cracks is going to get arrested and it will not propagate and all. That's the first reason. Second, during earthquake and all, it will give good confinement to your block work and all. So that are the two reasons why you provide this RCC band and all. Next one, what we call it is a sill concrete. Okay. So can you see this particular thing? What is this sill level? Wherever you are keeping the windows and all, no. So beneath that, we give one sill concrete. So that level is called a sill level. So if you see here, we are going to keep a window here. And beneath this, you can see this particular thing. Yeah, this is called as your sill concrete. Again, this is not a right practice. Whenever you are providing a sill concrete, you should give at least 1 feet or 2 feet of additional support. I mean, additional anchorage. For example, see if this is a window opening, okay, you cannot stop your sill concrete up to this distance. You extend up to another 2 feet, which is 600 mm. Extend another 2 feet, that is 600 mm. And this entire thing, you should make use of this as a sill concrete. So when you keep the windows and all, even if tomorrow, usually the cracks will happen from the corner. Usually the cracks will start from the corners. So if the crack starts, no, it will not propagate because you have given enough sill concrete here. Whereas in this case, you see, they have stopped the sill concrete only up to this point. So now if the cracks start to, it is easy, it can pass through this point. So that is why we should give that additional 1.5 or 2 feet additional sill concrete should be given. Now this is one local construction photo what I put. See again what all mistakes you can see. There is no sill concrete here. There's a window opening, but there is no sill concrete. Again, you see the block work, what they have done. They have not given any RCC band and all, right? You can see after every 5 course, I told you that should give RCC band. They have not given it here. And even if you observe carefully on the top also, this layer, they have used some half block and all. It's not a complete block in this case. So these are the mistakes what people do on the construction site, especially if you're working for a small firm and all. So in a bigger construction company, in a good construction and all, we don't do such kind of work. This is the kind of work that we want in a good companies. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Next, we'll see what is this flat slab system. So generally, normal our house construction and all, it's called as a frame system. What is a frame system? We have column, we have beam, we put slab and all. This is a normal frame system. Whenever you're going for this mall and all, no, if you go to mall, if you see the parking areas, if you go near the parking area, you find such kind of systems being adopted. So this is called as a flat slab system. In the mall and in commercial buildings and in airport, in metros and all, we want a column free space. I mean, we want a column, but the space between the two columns should be larger so that the people can move. So in that case, normal frame system and all will not work out for us. In that case, we adopt this flat slab system. So here what happens is you don't see any beams. You have a column, and after the column, we are given this drop panel. Okay. And then your normal slab is going to come. So this is basically given to take care of your punching shear. So what will happen is when the load comes, if you don't give this particular thing, drop panel, only if you give it as 8 inches thickness of the slab and all, this, what is that? Column will try to punch like this. So this is a punching failure, what will happen. So if I want to avoid the punching failure, I have two options. Either you increase the size of the column or you increase the thickness of the slab. So what we have done is we have increased the slab thickness. So this is one slab what we have on the top, you can see. And here we have given some additional thickness of the slab. If the upper slab is, let's say if it is 8 inches, let's say this additional is 7 inches. So 8 plus 7 is almost 15 inches is the thickness of the slab. So we have increased the thickness of the slab. Now this punching is not going to happen. That is the main intention of giving this flat slab system. So you may ask one question, sir, then why we are not increasing the thickness everywhere? See, wherever the punching is happening, there we have to increase the thickness. So where is your punching happening? Now, my punching is happening only where the columns are there, right? Only in that portion I'll increase the thickness of the slab. Here also column is there, I'll increase. Here there is no column, so you unnecessarily don't no need of increasing the thickness of the slab. Now, how much you have to increase? That is from the face of the column d by 2, d by 2 distance you have to increase. From here d by 2, d by 2, d by 2 and d by 2. Again, for that all the calculations are done by the structure engineers. So based on that, the size of the drop panel and all is decided. Okay, this is how it looks. It's a column and here there is a drop panel and then this is your normal slab which will come. Next, we'll see what is this shear wall. Okay, so you can see, we'll do one thing. I think this is sufficient for this particular lecture. If you like the content, do subscribe to my channel and you put it in the comment box that you want the next lecture. So in the next lecture, I'll take what is this shear wall, what is this trap beam, what is this pile cutoff point. Then we'll see what is this PT beam. We'll see what is this PT slab, and we'll see what is a retaining wall in the upcoming lectures. So put it in the comment box that you want a next lecture, and I'll continue. Now, for somebody who wants to learn all these things in a better way, so definitely download my civilbrains app. Whatever I'm teaching you, everything is explained in my entire courses. If you want to learn the entire building construction from start to the end, I've explained this in the 50 hours content in the site engineer course. So you can enroll in my site engineer course. After finishing this course, I'm damn sure that you will become one of the best site engineer. Even if you work on site for 2 years, you'll not get that much knowledge what I teach in my entire course. If you want to understand how to read the structural drawings, the concept behind that, how to decide the beam size, column size, slab size, enroll in my drawing reading course. It's almost a 30 hours lecture. If you want to learn how to do the estimation, BBS, BOQ and all, enroll in my quantity estimation course. I'll teach you all those things. Apart from that, if you want to learn the My1 construction, high-rise building construction, enroll in my My1 course. If you want to learn about QA/QC, quality assurance and quality control, enroll in my QA/QC course. If you want to learn ETAP, StatPro, Safe and RCDC, you can enroll in this course. So all the courses are available on my civilbrains app. And if you want to learn all my courses and go to a better position in your life, want to work as a senior engineer and all, enroll in my construction mastery course. This course, more than 675 students have enrolled. So it includes all my courses: site execution, estimation, drawing reading, BBS, BOQ, project management, MS project, Primavera, high-rise building construction, all the lab experiments, everything I've covered in this particular course. So do download it, see how much, how I teach, see how much you're able to understand. And if I'm the right person to teach you, definitely enroll in my complete courses. And before enrolling in any of my courses, check out the reviews, because reviews will tell you whatever investment you're doing, so what is the outcome of those investment? And all my courses has a EMI option. You don't, if you cannot spend money, I mean, you cannot make a payment in a one single shot. You can make use of the EMI option. This 14,999, you can pay in 3,800 4 installment. This 6-in-1 combo course, you can pay in 3 installment. 3-in-1 combo course, you can pay in 3 installment. And these are the reviews given by the students and all. You can check out the reviews given by the students. These are the students who got job for 42,000 rupees. He got a job for 35,000. Is another student today itself he got this job. He messaged me. He got 6.5 LPA through my courses and all. You can check out the reviews given by the students. He got job in as a QA/QC engineer with a 4 LPA salary, and you can go through all the reviews and all. He's another student who got job in quantity surveying with 33,000 rupees per month. He's another student who got job with a 6 lakh package with 3 years of experience. Okay, you can check out all the reviews. These are the courses what I offer. So do He's another student who got job in Saudi Arabia in a very first interview. Best course till now. I went to various courses, but this is something next level thing. So go and check out all the reviews and all. He's another student who got a salary of 8 lakh per annum. He was doing MBA from Nikmar University. So that's it. All these are the reviews given by the student. He got 4.2 lakh salary. He got 7 LPA ka salary. Okay. So yeah, that's it. So these are the reviews given by the students. Do check out the courses, enroll in the course and upgrade your knowledge. And I'll see you back in the next lecture with the next video. If you like it, put it in the comment box. I'll make a next video on this.